If you are working 60, 70, 80 hours a week, and at the end of the month or the year, there's somehow no profit, no money left over for you, then this is your video. I am going to show you all of the hidden ways that right now your business is losing profit. And more importantly, what to do about it. Because the answer to your profit problem isn't more growth. It's not more marketing, more sales. It's actually finding where the profit you're already earning is leaking out of your business and what to do to close those gaps. All the profit you could ever want to make already exists inside of your business. Let's figure out how to find it. So first things first, when I talk about leaking profit, let me clarify what I mean. Imagine for a moment that your business is a bucket and sales and marketing is the pipe that is piping water, that's revenue, that's cash flow, into your bucket. Okay, every single bucket has cracks and holes and gaps. These are the inefficiencies inside of your business that is costing you time, costing you clients, costing you money. And through all of these gaps and holes, the water, the revenue that you're working so hard to bring into the bucket is just turning around and leaking out. The bigger your bucket becomes, the larger the gaps become, which is why it sometimes feels like you're working harder than ever, you're doing more marketing and sales than ever, but at the end of the day, profit is not increasing, or sometimes it's disappearing entirely. What's happening is those gaps are widening faster than you can pipe water into it. And that sucks, but it's also great news, because you know what's really expensive? Sales and marketing. You have to spend all this money to get more water into the bucket. Do you know what is free? Closing the gaps in the bucket so the water you're already bringing in just stays inside. So the job of operations fundamentally is to drive profit inside of your business. And the way that it does that is by finding these gaps and these holes, closing the leakage so that all of the money that you're working so hard to acquire just stays inside of your business, drops straight to your bottom line in the form of profit so that you are actually able to take it off the table at the end of every month, at the end of every year. So I call this the leaky bucket problem. Every single business in the world has it, and if your profit isn't where you want it to be, almost can guarantee that it's due to the operational inefficiencies that, here's the catcher, you may not even know are there. If your focus is so dialed on sales and marketing and bringing more water in, then those gaps and those holes might right now be costing you tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars every single year, and you may not even know about it, which is why we call these hidden profit centers. There are actually 6 hidden profit centers inside of your business. And I'm gonna break these down one by one so you can understand how is profit currently leaking out of this crack in my business and what can I do to close it. So the first hidden profit center, the one that we see most often in our clients' businesses, is team. Team underperformance, they don't have the right people in the right roles, or they have great people, but they're not doing great work. If right now your team is coming to you for everything, if you feel like you just need like better people, better A players, better performers, or if it feels like your team is good, they just can't do anything without you, then team is almost guaranteed one of your hidden profit centers. Let me tell you a quick story. We had a client who hired a COO, not through us, and every single month I would check in with him and ask him, hey, how's it going? And every single month for 6 months, he told me, Jhana, I just don't know. They are underperforming, but I don't know if my expectations are too high or if they're not just the right fit. And you know what? They're new in the role, so I'm gonna give them another shot. Let's see how this goes. And it continued like that every month for 6 months. They finally fired the guy and hired the COO that we recommended. 1 week after that new COO came in, they got the right person in the right role doing the right work. 1 week, and that COO found $100,000 that this company was misspending due to a messed up ad pixel. So on one hand, make the right hire and you will save $100,000 in the very first month. Pretty good ROI. On the flip side, that also means that the wrong hire, the person that they held onto for 6 months, cost them $600,000 simply because that's how big the crack in the bucket was, and they didn't have the right operator who could find that, close it, and save that company $600,000 in profit just by fixing 1 ad pixel. So I share this story to illustrate how powerful it is to get the right people in the right seats doing the right work. If we don't have that foundation of high performance team, then guaranteed right now you are losing money. You're losing money in the form of low team performance, missed growth opportunities, and all of the management that you now have to get pulled in to handle because you don't have the right self-managing A players. So team is incredibly expensive. And team goes hand in hand with the second hidden profit center, which is leadership. Sometimes the problem is not with the team, but with the leader. That's you, that's me. Here's the truth, is that well-managed teams are on average 2.1x more productive than your average team, meaning that you could take the same exact group of people that you have today, and just by leveling up your leadership, you could up to double the amount of revenue, the amount of output that that team could produce for you for the same amount of labor cost, right? So you're paying the same amount, and if right now you're getting this much output, you could get this much output. And that whole gap is profit. That's profit that could be generated in your business, but isn't, because we don't have a top performing team. We don't have top performing leaders. So if you've ever heard those sayings around your business will never grow faster than you do, or you are the ultimate bottleneck in your business, this is why. It's because our team will only ever be able to perform as well as our leadership. And if we want to level up our business, we need to level up ourselves. By transforming ourselves, we will turn around and transform our team and the work that they can get done. And I know that sounds oversimplistic, but we literally see this all the time. I had a client come to me after only 2 weeks. We called him out for the leadership gaps that he didn't know he was doing. And within 2 weeks, he came back to me and said, Jhana, it's like I don't even recognize my team. It's like they're completely different people. They're way more proactive, way more innovative, way more bought in. They're solving their own problems, answering their own questions. Like, who are these people? And where did all of this come from? And what I told him was, all of that work ethic and all of that human potential was always there. Your team was always capable of bringing this to the table. They just didn't because you weren't inviting them through your leadership. So right now I can promise you that, again, if your team is underperforming, if they're disappointing you, or if you keep hiring more and more people, but it's not solving the problem, it's almost definitely actually a leadership issue. And while yes, that's very confronting, on the flip side, it's also great news. It costs us nothing to go through our own level up, and yet the output to the business could be doubling the productivity and revenue generation from our team. Again, hidden profit. Your team has all this human potential, all this creativity, all this innovation that they could be bringing into your company, and it's not. It's just leaking out through the leadership crack in the bucket. So I hope at this point, I'm starting to get the wheels turning around where there may be hidden profit hiding in plain sight inside of your business. This is pretty hard because, again, by definition, the profit is hidden. So what we went ahead and did was build a tool for our clients that we now call the Hidden Profit Finder. It will actually help you diagnose and pinpoint exactly where inside of your business, inside of your team, your leadership, and the 4 other pillars, you are losing profit right this second, and what to do to reclaim it. So we have made this tool entirely free. You can go ahead, grab it at the description below, and it's going to walk you through real scenarios in your business, things that we've seen in the hundreds of companies that we've worked with to help you pinpoint exactly where your hidden profit is leaking out of your bucket. So watch the rest of this video, grab that tool, and you should be well on your way to making your company more profitable for free. Great. So we've talked about team, we've talked about leadership. What are the other 4 hidden profit centers inside of your business? The next one is communication. And by communication, I mean meetings, emails, Slack. How do people in your business talk? Here's the truth. Every hour that you are paying for your team to talk is time not spent making you money. Now, people have to talk, right? Meetings have to happen. Slack is an important tool, but how we are talking and how much we are talking might be costing us hundreds of thousands of dollars. Now, I know that is an extreme statement, so let me prove it to you by breaking down the quick math of a client meeting that we had last year. So this client had an all-team meeting with his team of like 20 people twice a week for 60 minutes. And on that meeting, he was essentially just going around person by person and saying, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? What do you need help with, right? Just auditing the business, just figuring out what the heck is going on with everyone on the call twice a week. Cool. Turns out that meeting with the right systems is entirely unnecessary. So we fixed his systems, we eliminated the meeting, we got him and his team back that time. When we break down the math of that meeting was costing him $62,000 every single year just to pay his team to sit on that meeting so he could ask them, what are you working on today? So right off the bat, by eliminating that meeting, we saved him $62K. Plus, he also saved his team 2,000 hours. 2,000 hours that collectively were going to be spent sitting on that call that now instead gets to be put back to work doing the things that actually make the business money. The amount of revenue that his team could generate in 2,000 hours was on average 250 grand. So we saved him 62K, we made him 250K just by eliminating one meeting. And that's not even to run the math on how many hours his team was spending on Slack, on the many other meetings that they were having all day, every day. If right now you feel like you are getting bogged down with endless Slack messages, with more and more and more meetings, with an email inbox that is overflowing, that's not just exhausting and frustrating, it's actually incredibly expensive. It's expensive because you don't get to do the things that you know are gonna move the needle forward, and it's expensive because you are paying for your team to sit around and talk instead of make you money. On the flip side, it costs us nothing to learn to talk better, to run better, more efficient, and fewer meetings, to tighten up our systems so that we don't have to communicate so much in Slack or bother each other with emails all day. Just by shrinking down the amount of talk time, you will immediately begin freeing up productive revenue-generating hours that now get to be put to work growing your business. And again, for the same cost. You're already paying your people their full salary. It doesn't cost you anything more to use that time more profitably. So meetings and communication is actually a huge hidden profit center. And when we go in and audit our clients' businesses, we can often find tens, if not thousands of dollars in savings right there, hidden in plain sight inside of their meetings. Okay, so that's a big one. What's number 4? Number 4 is systems. What does that mean? It means that right now, if I'm a member of your team, and I have to run a process and I have a question around how to do it, and there's no SOP for me to go to refer to and say, how do I get this done? Who am I going to go to? I'm going to go to you. If I have a question about a client and a piece of client information, and there's no client dashboard for me to refer to figure that out, who am I going to go to? I'm going to go to you. If it feels like your team is coming to you for everything, or it feels like you have to go out, figure out what everyone's doing, follow up with them 100 times and herd cats, that's not a team failure. It's not even a leadership failure. It's actually a systems failure, because the right system would make that entirely unnecessary. The right system tells your team how to do their work and what information they need to get it done. The right system tells everyone what they should be working on and holds them accountable to those due dates and deadlines. And if you don't have that system, then you, the founder, will have to step in and compensate for that with your time. And again, we just determined how expensive your time is and how expensive your team's time is. So the reality is like by the time we're done working with our clients, we have freed up somewhere between 10 to 20 hours of their week on average, just by bringing in the right operational efficiency, the right meetings, the right systems, the right team. 10 to 20 hours a week get freed up. Let me ask you this right now. How much more revenue could you generate with 10 to 20 extra hours every single week? What could you do with 10 to 20 hours? Okay, now that's all the growth that could happen, but isn't, because right now your time is being stuck, trapped in the weeds of the business. That is very real revenue that we don't get to generate, and very real profit that turns around and leaks out in the form of wasted hours for the cost of a $200 a month ClickUp subscription. So the right systems don't just organize the day-to-day chaos and keep the trains running on time. The right systems make you money because they allow you and your team to use your time way more effectively on the things that actually drive growth, and do that for the same cost. It costs nothing to improve your systems, and you're already paying for your team's time to get in there and to use them. So for the same level of expense, how much more growth can we stack on top of that just by using our time more efficiently? Hidden profit, hiding in plain sight inside of your business, inside of your systems. Okay, so we've got team, leadership, communication, systems. Number 5 is data. One more quick story to illustrate how powerful data is. We had a client that was doing 15 million in top line revenue. And that founder was working like 80-hour weeks, was traveling all over the world, meeting up with clients, was working so hard to make it all happen. At the end of the year, he looked at his profit and it came out to 0.5% profit margin. His company did 15 million in top line and he took home 80K. Now here's the kicker. He had no idea why. He had no idea where that money went. because he wasn't doing the proper financial tracking and data collection. Without data, we are flying blind. We don't know what's working, what's not working, where we're making money, and where we are losing money. Here's the thing. As your business grows and scales, it becomes more complex. There's more moving pieces. It's harder to keep track of. You very quickly start to lose visibility as a founder. What is happening, boots on the ground, what's working and what's not. Without that visibility, it becomes impossible to make the right decisions. Without that visibility, it becomes impossible to see not just where our revenue is coming from, but where our profit is coming from and how we can optimize our business to do more of what is making us the most profit. And that brings us into our sixth and final pillar, which is strategy. So the way that data and strategy fit together goes like this. You're probably an amazing marketer, right? You know how like Facebook ads work. Imagine for a moment that you were running your Facebook ads account and every single month you're like, all right, new ads, new ads, new ads. We're launching everything and we're throwing all this ad spend into all of this testing. And then once a month, we look at our ads manager and we're like, yep, I made more dollars than I spent. So I guess we'll just keep going. More ideas, more new ad sets, more new creatives. And we keep going like that, without ever looking at the level of the ad set. Like which of these ads is actually producing the highest return on ad spend? Which of these ads is actually generating the lowest cost per lead or the most profit? How crazy would that be? If we just looked once a month at the ads manager level, saw more dollars in than dollars out, and then just said, great, let's leave it all live, let's keep it all going, and let's launch 5 new ads while we're at it. No marketer would ever run their ads manager that way. And yet, that is how I see most incredible entrepreneurs running their strategy. Except instead of ad sets, it's products, offers, and ideas. Every month, we go to a new mastermind, we get really excited about all the new things we want to do, we come back, we launch them all, and then once a month, we look at our P&L and say, yep, I made more dollars than I spent. New ideas, next round. Here's the thing, not everything in your business is equally profitable. I can promise you right now that if you were to look at the level of your offer and service, you may have some offers that are bringing in huge top line revenue, big dollar amounts, but are so expensive to deliver on that when all is said and done, there's actually not that much profit left over. You may have other offers that aren't as sexy and aren't bringing in the huge Stripe screenshots, but the cost of delivery is so low that the profit margin on them is enormous. When we don't look at profit at the level of the offer and service, it's like running an ad campaign without checking at the level of the ad set. It's not enough that we're profitable. We have to know where is our profit coming from? And then, and this is the kicker, we have to be willing to shut down the things that aren't driving profit. We have to be willing to walk away from the giant painful Stripe screenshots that are so sexy and make us feel so good. But when we look at the data, are actually producing 5%, 10% profit margins. Or we need to see that data and say, okay, how do we bring down cost of delivery? How do we increase prices so that the maths? Without data, we simply don't know what's working and what's not. Checking your P&L once a month isn't giving you the level of visibility and granularity that you need to scale your company, not just towards revenue, but towards profit. And right now, if I was to look inside of your business, I can almost guarantee we're gonna see it follow the 80-20 rule. 80% of the stuff that you and your team are working on, that you're spending time and energy and money on, are producing about 20% of your profit. And the reverse is also true. If we can identify and isolate the 20% of offers, the 20% of clients that you work with that are generating 80% of your profit, and then we take the time to eliminate the 80% busy work and triple down on the 20% profitable activities for the same amount of cost for the same amount of time, you will be able to massively stack profit margin. But we can't do that without clear data-based strategy. Profit isn't something that you go out and earn more of. All the profit that you want already exists inside of your business. It is just leaking out through the operational inefficiencies that are hiding in plain sight. And the great news of that is that it costs us nothing to find these hidden profit centers close these gaps, and immediately start earning back and stacking that profit by keeping the water inside of the bucket. Now, this was a very high level overview. Each of these pillars has a deep dive into where profit is leaking out. And again, team is the biggest one. So I've gone ahead and filmed an entire video around team dependency. Why right now your team is coming to you for everything, can't move things forward, it doesn't feel like you have the right A players, and what to do about it. You can go ahead, check that out right here so that together we can help you earn profitability and productivity back from your team starting today. I will see you over there.